National Australia Bank raises interest rates. Let's have a look. Good morning, everyone. Florian.heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee. We're going to have a look at NAB raising their rates once again. And thank you to the viewer who emailed me this broker update. So, an update for brokers. NAB announces changes to its home loan fixed interest rate. Well, there we have it again. So today, increases to the NAB Choice Package and Tailored Home Loan fixed interest rates for owner-occupiers and investors. These changes are effective from the 1st of April 2022, and sadly this isn't an April Fool's joke. We can see here, let's have a look. Principal and interest, 0.25 for 1 year, 0.4 for 3 and 2 years, 0.2 for 4, and 0.3 for 5 years. So it looks like, 0.3 for 5 years. You've got owner, these are all owner-occupier. Interest only in arrears. So everything up is 0.3, and interest only in advance, everything up is 0.3. If we have for residential investors, principal and interest, you got 0.2. For 1 year, 0.3, 0.3, 0.2, 0.25. Keep going down. 3.5 is the highest, really. We have a look here, owner-occupiers. You've got principal and interest. What's the difference? Oh, these are the tailored home loans, and these are the choice package. So it's where you're paying extra to be part of it. I mean, the whole this whole home loan stuff. It really makes me think of the old mobile phone deals, you know, where you didn't quite know what you were paying, and they overcomplicate and they add all this stuff to it. So it makes it, the idea is to make it hard to compare different products. But we can see here everything is going up once again. These rates are effective from Friday the 1st of April. They apply to new NAB Choice home loans and existing NAB Choice home loan packages and existing tailored home loans, where a customer applies to switch from a variable to a fixed rate or refix their loan on or after this date. New fixed customers or drawdowns. The actual rate that will apply will be the effective fixed rate as at the day of drawdown, unless the customer takes out a rate lock, and that interest rate is lower than the advertised fixed rate at drawdown. So this is only going to affect you if you refix your rate, or if you switch from variable to a fixed, or if you get a fixed mortgage as of today. So let's look at the numbers, guys. We'll bring up the old Excel here. Now, I'm writing 580 grand because that's the median mortgage, but in some parts of the country, it's actually higher. If you look at Sydney, what people are borrowing, it's just insane. But this is for 5 years, 30 years, 30-year loan, going from 4.19 to 4.49. We can see it's an increase of $102.41 a month. $25 a week. Now, that is, it's not to be scoffed at, although everything is so expensive right now. I've got another article we want to look at where the author is saying that any of the benefits we'll see in the budget are just going to disappear because of mortgage increases. And let's say we go from 1.99 up to 4.49. So you didn't trust. For some reason, you didn't trust good old Phil, and you decided to fix in because you thought, okay, you know what, they're going to raise rates. So you've got this 1.99 for a couple of years, 4-5 years. And when it expires, you're probably going to be hit with a higher rate. Now, this is, I would say, one of the worst case scenarios where you go from fixed to fixed. You might go mortgage, you might go half fixed, half variable. But let's say if you were hit with an extra $800 a month on your mortgage. Okay, now depending on where you sit in the economy, which household you're in with regards to how much money you have. If you're an upper household, a middle income household, or a lower income household, this $800 is going to have a different impact on you, and that could drive many people into mortgage stress. And what's the definition of housing stress? Let me bring this up here. Just make sure I've got it here. Yep, we'll bring that up. The definition of housing stress is when lower income households usually spend more than 30% of their gross income on housing costs. Now, if you're spending 30% on your mortgage, you've got to remember there are other costs that we always seem to forget in owning a house. Or ScoMo's telling everyone to buy a house and to get into it. It may be cheaper than renting, but you've got maintenance costs as well. And sure, you can mitigate that by putting stuff off. And you may have to do it. And learning how to do it yourself. Honestly, that's what I think a lot of people are doing. That's why we have a Bunnings culture here in Australia, is doing it yourself. And with YouTube, there are so many tutorials people can watch and learn to do things. But there's a lot of limitations. There's a point where you will need to get a professional in. So that's the worst case scenario. We're looking at not as bad at the moment. But guys, these rates are slowly creeping up. Some people are going to be affected, others aren't. Will we see a rush of property to the market? What could happen is you may see some people stuck in negative equity, and then they won't be able to get out. But if it's your home where you live, you're not going to get out anyway. You're just going to push through. And if you're a long-term investor, if you're in property for 20 or 30 years, are a few years of negative equity going to matter? How many times have you been down in the red in the stock markets, dollar cost averaged in, and just waited for it to climb back up again? So we have to see. Remember, selling and the liquidity in property is a real pain in the ass, guys. It's not that easy to move property. There are going to be some people that will get out, and we're seeing listing prices not meeting, price withheld, because they're not getting what they want. They're having to take 10% off, 5% off what they're listing. It's not as crazy. The heat has gotten out of the market, that's for sure. But I don't think it's going to be the mammoth property collapse that some people are desperate for as the only way to get in. Anyway, let's have a bit of a talk about this one already. I am rambling. Here's the reality of it. Interest rates are going to go up. All those of us with a mortgage, we're going to face it. You've got to prepare for it. That's it. You've got to prepare. You can be shitty. You can complain. You can say the system isn't unfair. You can vote for whoever you want at the election. It's not going to make any bloody difference to your day-to-day, probably. I really doubt it. We get so upset about these federal political issues and at state levels, but there's going to be people here who need to prepare, or you need to prepare and plan for rates to go up, because it's going to happen no matter who gets in. And the best thing to do with that is to sit down and to look at your situation. Make sure you know where your money's going. Make sure you know where it's coming. If enough isn't going to come in for these high rates, you got to earn more. That's the reality of it. If you can't earn more, well, you got to sell stuff to afford to do it. Maybe you got to rent out rooms. There's ways to get through these things. It's not the end. Leave your suggestions in the comments below, guys. Thanks for watching. If you're a fan of the channel and enjoy the content I find and put together, there are a few ways you can help out. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon, sign up for SelfWealth or Stake, or use our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, and AussieBroadband. Take care, everyone. Have a great day, and enjoy April Fool's Day. Maybe I should do a joke video. Really, everything is a joke. One thing that came out today, did you see the wrap-up behind-the-scenes video for One Nation's fantastic cartoon series? Check that out if you haven't seen it. It's a bloody funny series.